What's going on, YouTube? Q back here again with another video for you. Today's video, I'm going to give you the top 10 cars that you should buy to start a YouTube channel with. So I've had quite a few cars on this list, and I got my eye on a few cars on this list. So I'm just going to give you guys my opinion on what I think are the best cars. I'll give you guys a hint. My GT350 is on the list. Not the particular trim, but the Mustang. Before we leave the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, share, and let's jump into it. Alright, so starting a YouTube channel can be a little bit challenging. Like, you're not going to get any views, you're not going to have any subscribers, unless you're one of the few people that start off with a viral video. But if you're like the other 99% of us, like, it takes a long time to grow the channel, and it's a grind. So the most important thing is to be consistent. But to get your eyes or to get your channel seen, it helps to have certain cars that people have or people are into. So you don't want to do yourself a disjustice by getting a car like, let's say, it's one car I want, an Acura TL, the one with the ugly beat grill, the 2012 plus. Not a lot of people are interested in those, and that would be not the best car to start a channel around. So I'm about to jump into the list. Got 10 of them, and before I start the list, I'm going to keep this at an affordable or somewhat affordable, because I did have a Huracan on the list, but those aren't that affordable. But a lot of people do have their eyes on the Huracans. It's like the most popular car. But let me not ramble on too much. Let's jump into the list. Alright, so the number 10 car on this list is the Nissan GTR. So the Nissan GTR is Japan's supercar. It's like, it started off very cheap, $60,000 when they were new. It was around that price range. Now they've gone up all the way up to like 100K. But the 0 to 60 on these cars were the low 3 seconds, and they dipped down to like 2.8. And then a lot of people modify these things, and there are some GTRs with over 2,000 horsepower, and these things are crazy. And I think YouTube became saturated with GTRs at one point in time, because the people that started making it on YouTube, everybody got GTRs, and there was a bunch of them. I didn't subscribe to any because I wasn't into them, but I respect the cars. They got a lot of power, all-wheel drive, and I just found out recently they had back seats. Like, I would have had one on my list, but I gotta have back seats in my car. So GTR is the number 10 car on my list. So my number 9 car on the list is the Chevrolet Corvette, and this car has a long heritage. Came out in the 50s, maybe 1953, not sure, but it has been consistent the whole time. It is America's sports car, and they never stopped production, and now they finally got to the point to where they put the engine in the rear of the car, really increased the performance. Z06 is about to come out. The Stingray, they're going for crazy values right now in this market. Even the ones before this, the ZR1s, the Z06, Grand Sport, these engines are highly modifiable. You can get all kinds of spoilers, wings. Like, the aftermarket support is huge on Corvettes. Only 2 seats, and the interiors are a little cheap, but it is probably the best bang for the buck performance wise. Like, you can get supercar levels of performance at a cheap price. So Chevy Corvette is my number 9 entry. So number 8 on my list, and this car comes in a few different flavors, and it's newer to the list, debuted in 2013 in America. It's the Scion FRS, the Subaru BRZ, and the Toyota 86. So all 3 of these cars, huge aftermarket support. I think this car makes a fantastic car to start YouTube with, or just to have on the channel, period. Like, the new ones, the old ones, the new ones are just rolling out. But this car, you can daily them. They're small, they have back seats, but the aftermarket support is huge. You can do wide bodies, you can supercharge, turbocharge the engines. Go check out Rookies To Pro Buildz. He has a FRS, or is it a BRZ, on his channel, the first generation. He's building his to be a circuit racer. Me and him are going to race early next year once the weather breaks. So go ahead, check him out. And these cars, they handle fantastically. They're very, very cheap. I had the FRS. I had a 2013. I bought the car for 12 grand a couple years ago. So you can get into them cheap. Even new ones are cheap, and they're at like 30K right now. So highly modifiable. The engines rev out. You can have fun at low speeds. They get tail happy. Like I got nothing but respect for those cars, and I love them, to be honest. So the number 7 car on my list is the Chevrolet Camaro. Now the Camaro has been in the game for a long time, but they stopped the Camaro from 2002 until 2010 is when they came back. And since they came back, they hit the market, and they were the number 1 sales for the muscle cars. We've seen the Mustang, Camaro, and Challengers. Camaro was number 1 up until around 2016, I think. But the Camaro is basically the same as the Corvette. They have most of the same engines. Same as the Corvette. Huge aftermarket, lots of modifications, big power, all kinds of varieties. And that's just the most recent build, the Gen 6. The Gen 5 has a ton of aftermarket support too. And then they have a big variety of engines, like you got the ZL1s, SS, V6, 4 cylinders. The Camaro comes in a lot of flavors. And then a sweetheart in the Camaro lineup that nobody really has, the Z28. It's got the LS7, 7-liter V8, very rare car. I want one of those. Camaro, great handler, puts the power down. Relatively cheap to get into, but this market hasn't been kind to the Camaro. If you're selling one, it has been, but if you're buying one, they're a little bit on the high side right now. So number 6 on my list, and this is going to be compiled of 3 different cars, same manufacturer. So that's the M2, M3, and M4. BMWs, that is their car to me. Like, BMW is known for their inline 6s, and all 3 of those, they come with their inline 6. So if you want the BMW experience, I think the M3, M4, actually the M2 is the best driving one, but it's the newest one to the market. But the M2 kind of takes on where the M3 began, the segment, the luxury, the entry-level luxury sports sedans or sports coupes. So the M2, they're all highly tunable, all kinds of modifications. So the M3 comes in all different kinds of flavors, very expensive E30s. Got the E36, was just the cheapest. The E46 was just the classic one to me. The E90, which is the one with the V8. And I forget the rest, the F whatever. These are the ones that I'm actually referring to right now. The F80s, I believe. Big power. Even the new one with the hideous nostrils, like that, those are good cars too. And I heard they improved on the steering and handling feel of the car, but they're really expensive. But you can get in the M3s for fairly reasonable prices. Like the E36s, the last time I checked, were around $10,000 for decent examples, and they go all the way up depending on which one you want. So BMW M2, M3, M4. So the number 5 car on my list is the Honda Civic. This car has a huge cult following, all different flavors. For me personally, I would go with the Civic Type R, because that car, I really want that car really bad. But then they have lower levels of it too, like the SI is very sporty. Even the brand new one, the regular Civic, is just a sporty car. So Honda, they're known for their engines and then their powertrains too, like amazing shifters. They shift really well. Powertrain is rock solid, reliable. I think Honda has maxed out the front wheel drive platform. So if you want a great, cheap, reliable, you can put a lot of power down in these things too. Huge aftermarket. This might have probably the largest aftermarket on this list. But yeah, Honda Civic. So the number 4 car on my list is the Volkswagen GTI or the Golf R. So I'm not huge fans of these just because I don't like the looks, but I respect them. And also another car that goes to this list is kind of on the same platform, the Audi S3, and I think that has a 5-cylinder engine. So all 3 of these cars, huge power mods available. So you can get, I seen S3s beat like supercars, so it's crazy how tunable those cars are. And the Golf is just, it's the hot hatch. It began the hot hatch market, so it's been there for a long time. Coming front wheel drive or all wheel drive. Amazing handlers, and of all the hot hatches, they're probably the most premium. The interior quality is really good. It's a great ride. It's not like boy races like some of the other ones can be, like the Focus RS or the Civic Type R. It's like a more mature look. Not my thing, but much respect to the GTI and Golf R. So the number 3 car on my list, and this car, I'll call it the race car friend special. He's been telling me to get this car over and over for like the last few weeks. So this car is the Subaru WRX or STI. So they have the most legendary all-wheel drive system. They can get huge power mods, like, and they come in flavors, the older ones. Actually, they go way back to like the 90s too. Rally cars, they kind of made a splash in the rally car market, and then they come in hatchback forms, sedans. So if you want to go fast on the budget, I would start with something like the STI and WRXs. So I've never driven one personally, but I see a bunch of them being in Michigan, so we get snow. I should have a car like this, but I don't know. I haven't bought one. I'm scared if I drive one, I'll like it, and I'll have to buy one. I don't want those problems right now. Lots of information on these cars. Whatever kind of build you want to do, these cars can take out supercars. Go check out Race Car Friend's channel. He's had one. He also had the GTI or Golf R as well. And then he has a friend on there with the 800 horsepower STI. So go ahead, check him out. So the number 2 car on my list, and I've had one of these before as well, the Dodge Challenger. Like, and these come in all flavors, and then you can get the Charger and the Challenger. Chargers and Challengers, huge aftermarket. They're in all the videos. Everybody's talking about them. A lot of YouTubers have them. Lots of modifications, all kinds of modifications, not just power. Like, people are putting big wheels. You can make a regular RT a wide body like Mod the Fame has. It's just a huge variety of them. All kinds of things like power, handling. You can make this platform whatever you want to. It's long in the tooth, and they've been out since around the first Charger come out like 2005, 2006. Challenger around 08 or 09. They've kind of been the same, so there's a huge aftermarket following on that. I love the wide bodies. Like, I would get a wide body and a manual transmission, and that's another thing. They come with the manuals too. If you want to see a lot of Mopars, go check out Chris on the camera. Dude puts in big work. Like, every week he's putting in videos at the car meets, and I know he recently started his channel, so go ahead and give him a subscribe. That's going to lead me into number 1, which was the first car I mentioned on the list, the Mustang. The Mustang started the pony cars, 1964 and a half. I'm in one. This is my 3rd Mustang. AmericanMuscle.com. All kinds of modifications. Like, any problem you have on the Mustang, it's been documented. Aftermarket support for everything. Like, you can get any spoiler on any car. You can make these cars handling cars, drag racing cars, circuit cars. So you got the Fox bodies, the classics, the SN95s, the new edges, the S550s. Just so many flavors of Mustangs, all kinds of exhaust. So I think that would be the top car to start a YouTube channel with. Notice I didn't say anything new. Like, I wanted to add the Supra to the list, which does well as well, especially when they first came out, because they took a hiatus and they came back recently. And Stratman said his Supra hands down got him the most revenue for last year. But I didn't put it on this list just because it was here in like the 90s and previously before that, and then it just came back. So I don't know too many people with Supras, and I didn't put the Z on there because it's really old. It could have made this list. You can probably maybe take out the GTR, put the Nissan Z, but I know for sure once the new Z gets on there, it'll be somewhere high up on this list, because I can see a lot of modifications coming for that car. So did I leave any out? Let me know down in the comment section. That being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll check you all out on the next video. Peace out.